let's say that we have a property called private and then final string and then pass and then word. I want to add this to constructor. So refactor, and let me put this on a new line just like that. And let's also have the getter. So get password so that we get that. So we get this property in our JSON object. And let's delete this to string and then just say to and then string. And there we go. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the customer fake repository, and in here we need to add a password. So I'm going to say password 123, and then this will be 123 password. And let's open up, I think, inside of the customer repository, and in here to do. So if I restart this, there we go. So if I send the same request, you can see that we have James Bond, password 123, and then Jamila, and then the password is 123 password. So there are times where you don't want to send this property back to the client. How do you do that? Well, with Jackson, it's really straightforward. We have this annotation that we can use in our POJOs. So customer, and in here I can say at and then JSON ignore. There we go. If I restart the server and then go back, and then here, let me just restart or actually refresh, and you can see that that property is now gone from our client. That's a very handy annotation to know, because there are times that you don't want to send some information back to the client. So let's also say that you want to change this from ID to customer ID right here. So you saw before that we added a new getter and then we said customer ID, or we can use at and then JSON property, and then we can change the name. So here I can say customer underscore ID. And if I restart again and then go back, and if I reload, you can see that we've changed from ID to customer ID. So those are really two handy annotations that you should be aware of when working with Jackson. And as I said, there is a ton of stuff that you can do with Jackson, and I'm going to leave a link where you can learn more about Jackson, because serializing and deserializing JSON using Jackson on its own, that is a complete separate course. And the cool thing with Spring Boot is that Spring Boot abstracts all of that away, and you don't have to configure Jackson or understand really how it works. But I felt like you knowing how your classes are mapped into JSON objects, how you can change properties using @JSON property, and how you can ignore properties, it's really important, right? So just remember that this getter is really important, and this is what making that you see the property in your JSON object right here. So without it, then there is no property, and you can change it and hide it as you wish.